Selling Canadians on a new extended combat mission to fight ISIS in the Middle East. In just about an hour and 15 minutes, the Defense Minister Jason Kenney, alongside the Foreign Affairs Minister Rob Nicholson, will speak to reporters about the government's expanded plan to fight ISIS. That extended and expanded mission, as I mentioned, we know now from yesterday, the motion in the House would allow CF-18s to conduct airstrikes inside Syrian territory. We know the opposition parties do not like it and will vote against it. But we're going to talk about the government's position now because Jason Kenney, Defense Minister, is with me this morning. And, sir, it's a pleasure to have you this morning. Thank you for being our guest.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I want to talk about the decision overall. It's a major decision for Canadians to see Canadian forces moving into Syria, CF-18s given the authorization to fly into Syria. And just to clarify, because when the mission started in October, the Prime Minister was very firm that Canada would not cross into the Syrian border or over the Syrian border without express invitation or authorization and stage any attacks in Syria. That did not come, either the invitation or the authorization. So what has changed that Canada will now go into Syria?
Well, 6 months later, we've evaluated the situation. We've seen that ISIS, this genocidal terrorist organization, has gone from being on the offensive, gaining territory, to being on the defensive, losing territory, moving increasingly some of their equipment from Iraq back into eastern Syria. Secondly, we see that in due course, if the Iraqi army is successful in a counteroffensive, that the center of gravity in this effort to fight this terror organization that's declared war on Canada will move back in to Syria. And as we look at this, we don't believe they should have a safe haven. Also, our allies, including the United States, have said to us that Canada has some unique military capabilities which are much in need, including the precision-guided munitions of the Royal Canadian Air Force's CF-18s.
But is that sufficient, Mr. Kenney, in terms of legal authority? Just the fact that you don't want to give them a safe haven to allow, you know, this military mission into a sovereign nation, is that not an incursion or indeed, as some have called it, an act of war?
Oh, first, in terms of the legal rationale, it's clear that the Syrian government either cannot or will not control the area that is now controlled by this genocidal terrorist organization. As far as ISIL is concerned, there is no Iraq-Syria border. They move back and forth as though it is their own so-called caliphate. You know, under international law, under Section 51 of the UN Charter, countries have an individual or collective right of self-defense. In the case of Iraq, they're obviously trying to defend themselves against this genocidal terrorist organization. They've called upon allied countries, of which there are some 24, to assist them in that effort. And it's entirely legitimate under international law, as President Barack Obama has pointed out to the United Nations, to strike targets in an area of a country that is not where the government is not exercising its own sovereignty. In this case, eastern Syria.
I watched yesterday your conversation with Evan on power and politics, and there was another key change that the two of you highlighted that I'd like to explore too, and that was the ultimate objective here, which had been contain and degrade ISIS. Again, the language from your government was very clear. That was the stated goal when this mission began. But you were clear yesterday that the ultimate goal is to defeat ISIS. That's a significant change as well. Why have you revised the goal?
I don't actually accept that we revised that. When we got into this effort on behalf of the democratically elected sovereign government of Iraq with a couple of dozen other countries last October, the immediate concern was to stop the proliferation of this terrorist organization in Iraq. And we've so far succeeded. But obviously, I think I've been clear as long as I've been in the government. Our ultimate objective is to defeat this organization. That may take some time. And let's be clear. Regrettably, there will always be people who share this twisted ideology of a so-called caliphate, but we have to demonstrate to such individuals that this group ISIL is not a real caliphate. It's not a real state, that it's on the losing side of history, and in so doing, I believe that we can diminish this organization's kind of seductive power to recruit and radicalize people.
Mm-hmm. That may take some time, you just said to me, and we heard the Prime Minister yesterday also very clearly saying that Canada would deal with this threat, quote, as long as it is there. So that is a concern many Canadians have, just how long will this mission continue? And certainly, as I listened to you and to the Prime Minister yesterday, it sounds like it's rather open-ended in its length. could go on for some time, as you've just said. That brings to mind an Afghan-style mission, very long in duration. Where exactly do you see Canada a year from now?
Well, a year from now, whoever's the government will reassess the operation, its effectiveness, and what to do going forward. I think it would be dishonest and unrealistic to suggest that anyone has a crystal ball to know exactly how the military conflict against ISIS is going to develop in the next in the long-term future. But we do know we have them on their back heel now, which is good news. We want to take the fight to them, continue to degrade their capabilities, make sure they continue to lose rather than gain territory, so they can't claim new victims, wipe out entire populations, which is what they were seeking to do. We'll continue that. And by the way, I don't think it's really analogous to the Afghan situation, because in Afghanistan, we had a very serious ground combat operation in the state of Kandahar, which was very, of course, significant in terms of casualties. Here we're talking about 6 CF-18s flying selective sorties with precision-guided munitions and a small training mission in northern Iraq. So the scale and risk of this mission is radically different than the one in which we were engaged against the Taliban.
But that's an important distinction to make. I think for many Canadians, though, just the prospect of an open-ended mission does immediately evoke a long-standing mission in Afghanistan, even if the particularities are not exactly the same. Let me ask you, though, because I know we're going to have more questions from other reporters in just a short time at 9 o'clock, and we'll be taking that live as well. You may get questions on this as well. If you do defeat ISIS in Syria, though, there are many questions that arise from that, which we haven't yet had definitive answers to. For example, who takes over that territory? Does Canada, along with the United States, as the rest of the coalition, do you remain in Syria, in that area of the territory that you have won back from ISIS? Are you not, in the end, just helping Assad deal with a problem within Syria? These are all questions.
Yeah, I don't think the answer is I don't know. I don't believe so. Look, the Syrian civil war is happening primarily in western Syria, in the so-called Levant region, near the Mediterranean, and it's a multi-sided civil war. We think it would be entirely wrong, just because Bashar al-Assad is an outrageously illegitimate president who should leave office. That does not mean that we should give this genocidal terrorist organization safe haven in eastern Syria to conduct its operations. So this is the conclusion that our allies have come to. It's the conclusion that we've come to. This is, look, we have no interest in getting involved in the Syrian civil war in any shape or form. And nor do we have any unrealistic aspirations to turn Syria into a kind of a modern Western democracy. Our objective is to end the power of this organization, ISIL, to radicalize and recruit people that is causing a security threat all around the world, including in Canada.
Minister Kenney, thank you for this time. As I mentioned, we'll listen in live as you speak alongside your cabinet colleague, Minister Nicholson. Thank you for answering our questions this morning, Jason Kenney, the Defense Minister.